Hey everybody, this video is going to be all about how to buy a home in PA in 2022. We got tips, we got tricks, we got facts, we got figures, we got some opinions too. Stick around. Hi everyone, I'm Gregory Martyr, your local real estate and local information expert here in the greater Philadelphia area. Welcome to our channel, Living in Philadelphia, where every week we put out some really epic content about what it's like to live here. The good things, the bad things, the beautiful surrounding areas in the city and out of the city. So if you're thinking of moving to the Philadelphia area or you're living in the area now, hit that subscribe button so you could be alerted to all of our epic content. All right, so let's get to it. How do you buy a home in PA in 2022? Well, it's very easy. You give me a call and I handle the rest. All right, end of video. See it? No, I'm just kidding. It's not going to be that simple, but I'll try to keep it precise and concise. Because of the market we're in, the first thing we want to do is, I'll call it, be prepared. Be prepared. The Boy Scouts of America, thank you very much. I am an Eagle Scout, by the way. Figured I'd mention that. And I'm not a scout for the Philadelphia Eagles, but that's for a different video. So we want to be prepared. Now, what does that mean? We need to have a sense of urgency. So we want to have our financing in order. Number one was get our financing in order. Now, this is, of course, after you called me or you hired a real estate professional. But let's hire a professional. You're looking for some great financing, FYI, North Star Mortgage is the place to go. Now, we've been partners with North Star for more than a decade. They are absolutely awesome. They work nights and weekends just like we do too. But even if it's not North Star, you want to have your financing in order because the houses that come up so quickly, they go under contract very quickly. So we need to have that piece ready to go. So we've hired a professional. Now, financing usually takes a few days. It might be pretty easy. You might have a lot of documents you have on hand, pay stubs, bank statements, tax returns. So I call it 2, 2, and 2. We need 2 most recent pay stubs, 2 most recent bank statements, and 2 most recent tax returns. Now, if you get paid a little differently, like some people we know, it might take a little bit longer, but it shouldn't take more than a few days considering how fast you bring the paperwork as to what they require. But the next thing would be is have a sense of urgency. The houses come up very quickly and they go under contract very quickly. So we need to stop, drop, and go look at the place. When it gets listed today, yes, we need to go look at it today, all within reason, of course. So can we do that? That's certainly up to you. But a lot of houses don't last till the weekend. It can't wait till Saturday or till it's necessarily convenient for you. So we want to have a sense of urgency and rush out to look at the place. All right, so along with your sense of urgency, your team should have a sense of urgency. Your agent, your lender, and so forth. All right, so next up is we want to make a strong offer. Now we want to make ourselves as attractive as a buyer that we can possibly be. So we have an extremely low inventory that I had mentioned before. Now, over the last couple of years, we have had 50% less houses for sale comparably and twice the amount of buyers. Now, that's when the low inventory started towards the end of 2019 and parts of 2018. And even through a pandemic where everybody was waiting. Well, now that everybody waited, a lot of the sellers actually did a lot of work on their houses. They've done some home improvements they were putting off, whether they did them themselves or they hired contractors to do it, which is certainly in part of our raising of prices of materials and our supply chain issues, but that's also for another video. Now, how do we do that? Well, there's a few ways to do that. So the way we would write our agreement of sale, we have some certain tricks and hints and certain creative verbiage. So a lot of offers are being accepted. Cash, as is, over asking, waiving appraisals. Now, unless you have a ton of money in the bank, and if you do, give me a call right away, and you're willing to take a risk, I don't necessarily highly advise doing that. But there are ways to incentivize the seller. So we as buyers consider offering close to, at, or over asking price. In some cases, if we're offering more than asking, we would want to offer to cover above appraisal amount. You can put a certain level limit on that, or you could just say the sky's the limit. The other thing that is more attractive to sellers is an as-is type scenario. Now, I would never suggest you buy a property as is unless you're a contractor yourself and you're more in the know than I am or we are. then certainly you could teach us something. But we want to use maybe some verbiage like inspections are for informational purposes only. We could also put a deductible in this category, and we could say something like, the buyer will be responsible for the first $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $7,000, whatever the amount is. The buyer is responsible for the first $4,000 of repairs, issues that are found. This way you're kind of conditioning, you're setting the seller up, you're letting the seller know that we're not going to be nickel and diming them for something. We're going to be taking it very seriously because we are talking about several thousand, several $100,000 purchase, so we want to take that seriously. So having the lender call behind the offer is super critical. That shows and gives confidence to the listing agent, which then in turn gives confidence to the seller of how well qualified you are. All right, so we hired a real estate professional. We got our financing in order. We got some creative verbiage. We have this huge sense of urgency. The last bit of information or the last bit of advice I can give is be persistent and be consistent. It used to be maybe 3, 4, 5 offers on average a buyer would have to make on 3 or 4 or 5 different places, and that number has nearly quadrupled. I know it sounds kind of silly, but the average is approximately 20 offers. Now, we could get hit on our first one, but it might take us 30 offers, but we're going to hang in there as long as you hang in there with us. So there is something called buyer fatigue, which we don't want you to have. We want you to love your house. But if you're taking a look at a house, you really think you like it, make the offer. We'll keep you protected in the agreement of sale. Bonus advice, shockwave. I wanted to add a piece of a bonus advice to you. Consider expanding your areas. Consider expanding your price point. Now, I don't necessarily mean go spend more than you want to spend, although that's certainly one way to go, expand up. But expand down and out. So let's just say you're approved for $400,000. Perhaps try to cap the housing prices around $375 so we can put ourselves in a higher position if we need to go up to $380 or $382 or something like that. We're still within the realm of what we can and want to afford. Now, if we were in that $400,000 price point and we were looking at houses in that 400 range and we wanted to go above, we may be stretching our budget too thin. We may not be putting ourselves in the best position. So let's position ourselves, but expanding is technically my bonus. Expand the areas, expand your views, expand your pricing. And that's what we're here to do. So even if you just want a second opinion, give us a call, shoot us a text. We're here to help anytime. You can also comment down below. So if you haven't already downloaded our home buying guide shown down in the notes below, please do so right away. The guide is an extremely useful resource when buying a home in the Philadelphia area, really in any area too. And by the way, should you want to learn more about what it's like to be living in Philadelphia, in the city, or the greater Philadelphia area, in the city, out of the city, in Jersey too, this video, among the others, will help you discover just what it's like to live in Philadelphia. All right, once again, it's Gregory Martier, your local real estate expert here, local information expert, coming at you from the city of brotherly love. Hope you have a great day, everybody.